Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time that you are, whatever time zone that you are on. For those of you that are on here live, and for many others that are going to catch the replay of this session, I want to say a very big thank you for joining today. How are you? How have you been? It's been a bit. The last time we caught up here was in October when we had our last mentoring session. And this is another one. This is November 2025. It's a pleasure and a privilege to be able to serve in this way, to be able to engage with you, to be able to share with you, to be able to inspire you on your journey of evolution, on your journey of growth. And I hope that this year has been amazing for you, has been great. I hope that you have indeed grown in this year, 2025. Since the beginning of this year, we had started our mentorship journey, and we have our sessions here on live, and we've talked about different topics. We've answered questions, we've read books, we've shared experiences, and we can only pray for these experiences to begin to really yield results in our lives, shape us to become better and more valuable people who are not only valuable to ourselves but are also able to add value to other people. So I'm so happy to be here sharing with you once again, and just holding up for you and encouraging you to keep moving in spite of all odds, to keep showing up for yourself and for other people in spite of all odds. I see the amazing things that members of my community have been up to. Many of you have gone ahead to start new businesses. Many of you have changed roles or changed jobs. Many of you have launched new ideas, new projects. Many of you have, or a few of you have also maybe set up your own platforms where you are empowering other people and just being people of value. Now, that's the essence of what we're doing here. It's for you to be able to pay it forward out of the abundance of what you are learning, to be able to pay it forward to other people and just be a massive blessing to others, being someone who is able to add value. And the truth is that as you continue to pour into other people and share out of the much that you've been taught or given, you will find that you will continue to increase more and more. So, welcome to the November mentorship session. And today we're going to be talking about how to reignite our spark. Reignite your spark, how to think like a visionary. We're in November, which is just 1 month before the end of the year. And there's a sense in which you are in November and it feels like, okay, so what more can happen in this year? Perhaps you have set goals at the beginning of the year, and maybe some of those goals have not really materialized. Maybe some of the things that you really wanted to achieve have not really come through as you would want it to be, right? And there's a sense in which you're trying to sort of wait it out and just say, you know what, okay, maybe not this year, maybe next year, maybe some other time, but maybe we just coast along till the year ends. But here we're talking about reigniting the spark. I can't even imagine how quickly the year has gone, right? It felt like yesterday when we were setting goals and dreaming big and all of those stuff, that we did and talked about. But if we're being honest, sometimes along the journey, you would realize that perhaps maybe for some people, the fire begins to dim, life begins to happen. Several deadlines that you're trying to meet, family obligations, work realities, even some disappointments along the journey, detours that we may have had to, manage and navigate through. And sometimes you have to ask yourself, it kind of looks like you're beginning to coast. You're just living each day as it comes and you're just trying to get by. You're just trying to get by. And sometimes when you catch yourself, you ask yourself, where did my spark go? Where did my spark go? I started this year so pumped up, ready to go for my goals and everything that I set out to achieve. But somewhere along the journey, it just looks like, okay, things kind of fizzled out a little bit. So today's session is about reigniting that spark, because everything that entered into your heart at the beginning of the year were things that I believe that God has put inside of you. It is the Spirit of God in man that wills, that desires to do things. So I don't think that they are random thoughts. They are intentional thoughts, especially if you're a child of God. So everything that you dreamt about are possibilities for you. So if you felt like you lost the spark to push through adversity, to push through disappointment, to push through resistance, to push through detours that may have come up along the journey, or whatever it is that may have stood on your path like a stumbling block to achieving those goals, if you felt like you lost your fire, if you felt like you've plateaued, as it were, if you felt like your energy level has gone really down, if you felt like you lost momentum, if you felt like you lost energy to push through, let me tell you, you're not alone. It happens to the best of us. But sometimes, as we're going to talk about in this session, there are times you come to terms with the fact that you need to reignite that spark all over again. You have to believe again and believe bigger. That's the idea of the conversation for today. Reigniting the spark, how to think like a visionary. In thinking like a visionary doesn't mean that everything that you envision will happen in a space of time that you have dedicated for it to happen. It's possible that some of it may even become elongated beyond the time that you planned to achieve them. But it doesn't take away from the fact that you had a vision. It doesn't take away from the fact that your dream is valid and those possibilities still exist in the womb of the vision that you carried at the beginning, right? So, the conversation about reigniting the spark is not just about getting busy again. No, it's not about busyness. It's about helping you to think, to dream, and to act like a visionary. Because here's the truth, ordinary people react to things. Ordinary people react to situations, especially when those situations are not really favorable, as it were. That's how an average person reacts. So we plateau, we get discouraged, we stop moving, we stop taking action, we stop trying. you know, that's how an ordinary person would react. But as a visionary, you tend to create even in adversity, you tend to create even in obscurity, you tend to create and still take steps even when the entire thing looks uncertain. So, what does it mean to think like a visionary? Because for you to be able to reignite the spark again and get your energy up and get your momentum going, you have to definitely understand what it means to think like a vision. A lot of what you see happen in your life, a lot of how you show up, a lot of how you pursue or not pursue the visions that were burning in your heart, a lot of that comes from how you think about it. So, your frame of thought is very instrumental in your ability to be able to reignite that spark and go for it and believe bigger and keep pushing until you get the result and the outcomes that you want. So, who is a visionary? Because for you to think like a visionary, you need to understand who a visionary is. A visionary is not necessarily someone that is famous, a superstar, an influencer, someone that a lot of people know. No, it's not about that. A visionary is anyone that can see what could be that has not yet been. Do you understand? A visionary is someone who is able to see what is possible. You're able to see possibilities that have not become a reality yet. Do you see? That's a visionary. That's a visionary. I know that There are times when things are discouraging. There are times where it looks bleak and you can't even see a way out of some situations. But a visionary is somebody who is able to see what does not already exist. All right? Visionaries think long term. They don't just focus on what exists today. They don't focus on the short term. They think long term. They think possibility, not about the limitation. Because the truth is that when you think about limitations, there are many of them that will come on the journey, on this life journey where we are constantly evolving, constantly in pursuit of purpose. All right. So, as a visionary, you will have to think long term. You cannot think about just 12 months. So you had some things you wanted to do in these 12 months and some of them have not materialized. Do you then stop and not pursue them? No. You have to think long term. You have to think in terms of possibilities. You have to think beyond the limitations that you see. All right? You have to think about impact. So maybe some of your goals or the things that you wanted to achieve have money targets or income targets tied to them, and you have not really quite hit those targets yet. You have to think bigger than that. It has to be beyond just income, it also has to be about impact. And I always draw my references from the Bible. I always look for Bible characters and stories that resonate, that bring lessons and insights that are relevant in our contemporary world. And an example of that, for instance, for me was Joseph in the Bible. Joseph, at the age of 17, he had a dream that was ridiculous. He saw the stars, the sheaves of wheat, everything bowing down to him. He saw his brothers, his family bowing down to him. Yet, that vision, even when it was contested by the lemons that life threw at him, by the things that he went through in his life, he held on to that vision. He didn't let go of that vision. He believed what God showed him, right? And so, even when he went through adversity, when he went through betrayal, when he went through slavery, through the prison, he kept that dream alive. He kept that vision alive. Why do you think he was able to do that? Because a true visionary does not just see the dream, they see through the storm as well. Okay, they see through the storm as well. So that's why it's important for you to be able to reignite the spark that allows you to pursue the vision, pursue the dreams that were in your heart, right? That you started this year with, and you were all so pumped up and your energy was at the top, and your momentum was just going, and you were vibing and all that, and you were having rush of ideas, rush of things that you could do, and you were going at them. For you to be able to reignite that spark and continue going with that same level of energy and momentum, you have to think like a visionary. All right? You have to think like a visionary. When I think about even people in our world, the likes of Okonjo-Iweala, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, people that inspire me personally, who was the first African and the first Black woman to lead the World Trade Organization. When you think about her, you would realize that she wasn't actually born into wealth or privilege per se, right? But she built her career through courage. She built her career through courage. She built her career through a sense of purpose that looked beyond her environment, you know. So when others saw limitation, she saw possibilities. And that's how visionary thinking looks like. Okay, you have to see beyond what other people are seeing. It is about choosing faith over fear, especially when the odds are not in your favor. Do you understand? When the odds are not in your favor, it's about choosing faith instead of fear. So let's talk a little bit about the spark factor. How do you make sure? Why is it that people even lose it in the first place? I mean, by people, I mean us too. Why do we lose our spark? Let's be honest. Many of us started this year with so much fire, so much fire. And by mid-year, it just seemed like the passion began to fade. Why? Number one, routine. What you do every day. Routine actually has a way of dulling your dream. When you get stuck in doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, that no longer inspire you, you will find that that can have a way of dulling your dream. So sometimes it's always good to catch yourself, to disrupt your routine. And one of the ways I do this, for instance, is I do quarterly check-ins from with myself, with my goals, because there's a sense in which you've carried on for 3 months, doing something or following a set of activities or actions. I take stock at the end of a quarter to just see, what am I doing? This thing that I'm doing, is it moving me closer to the realization of the dreams and the visions that I see? Am I getting clarity, more and more clarity as I go through those actions? Are there actions that I'm taking that are not really leading me forward, that are not taking me forward, that are not leading me in the direction of what it is that I want to achieve? You revisit those things that you do, because you cannot continue to do the same thing and expect a different result. So when you're stuck in routine and you don't find a way to disrupt yourself, to ask yourself to change something, sometimes it's about even changing your environment. Sometimes I force myself to get out of my immediate environment and just maybe go to a place for 2 or 3 days. Just change environment and get new perspective from the things in a new environment. Sometimes it's about just moving stuff around in my home. Sometimes it's about decongesting around me, right? Sometimes it's about just changing one or two things about my routine or infusing something new that I've not done before in my routine, because I noticed that routine dulls the dream. That's why sometimes we lose our spark. Number two reason why we lose our spark sometimes is comparison. Comparison kills confidence. When you look at other people who you consider your peers or people that you admire or people that are on the same level with you, or people that you feel like, you want to replicate their dream. Or maybe their dream inspires you, I don't know what it is, but when you compare yourself to other people, you're scrolling on Instagram and you're seeing your friend and it looks like you're feeling behind. Or you go on LinkedIn, those messages. I'm happy to announce that. I'm excited to share that. All those things where people share their accomplishments, their career breakthroughs, the new jobs, promotions, whatever it is, recognition, speaking engagements. You see them going all around and taking pictures and being celebrated and all of that, all of those good stuff. And you're wondering, why is nobody seeing me? I'm doing this work. I'm not even getting visibility. Nobody even recognizes me. Nobody's giving me an award. Everybody seems to be getting an award. Everybody seems to be getting called for some speaking engagement. Everybody seems to be the ones that are celebrated. People are getting new jobs. How come I'm not there? No, nobody is reaching out to me to say there's this opening, whatever. We think that you might be good for it. Nothing new is happening. It just feels like you're stuck in a place, right? When you begin to compare yourself with other people, you will find that you begin to lose confidence in yourself. Unconsciously, you're beginning to tell yourself you're not good enough. Those people are better than you. And so when you get into that state where you feel less than, where you feel like you're not all that good, other people are better because that's why they're able to get better results than you. When you get to that point, you begin to lose your confidence. All right. And that's why sometimes we lose our spark. We lose the ability to keep going at what it is that we know we should do because we've lost the confidence to do it. In fact, you may have even lost um, you know, the ability to believe in yourself that you are capable of achieving those things. And that's what comparison does. Number three reason is delay actually weakens your faith. I know. Sometimes when you want something so badly and it seems to be delayed, that delay can begin to affect your belief, your sense of belief. your belief in yourself, your belief in whatever it is that you hold as your faith, right? So you've been believing for something that hasn't happened yet. Doubt begins to creep in. And sometimes that is what makes us to lose our spark. Remember Moses in the Bible? He was once a young man that was filled with a lot of zeal. He was ready to deliver his people. But after one mistake that he made, he ran away and he spent 40 years in the wilderness until one day God used the burning bush experience to reignite his spark. So sometimes God uses certain experiences that also happen to us in the journey of life to reignite our spark, something that we didn't even know we lost along the journey. God can cause some experiences to happen to us that will reignite that spark for us. So sometimes, like Moses, we need a burning bush experience. We need a burning bush moment to serve as a reminder that our purpose still matters and that our vision is not dead. All right. And sometimes you need to pray for that and believe for that as well. You know, your spark may have dimmed, but it's not gone. It's still there, maybe a little flicker. You just need to fan it to flame. You need to breathe on it again. All right. You need to breathe on it again and fan it to flame. So, how do you think like a visionary? How do you reignite your spark in the event that that spark has dimmed? How do you reignite it? How do you reignite your spark? How do you think visionaries stay on fire? I would unpack that in four powerful principles that I'm hopeful would help you and would, if you're going through this sort of situation, will help you to come out of it. Number one thing that I know for sure, is that one of the ways that visionaries are able to manage this experience is number one, you have to dream beyond your circumstances. If all you see is what you're going through, there's a sense in which you can get drowned in the noise of everything that is going on around you. So visionaries don't let where they are limit what they see. You see regardless. Even though everything that is around you is not saying exactly what you want to see, you still see through the storm regardless. You still see through that limitation regardless. Think about Abraham in the Bible. He was childless for a very long time, even after God had given him the promise that he was going to be the father of nations. God had promised him that he was going to give him a son, and then through him, he will father nations. But for a very long time, he didn't have a child, right? You know, God had to take him outside the tent for him to see the stars. God told him to count the stars. As many as he can count, that's how many his children will be. He needed an experience that would reinforce what he believed, what he was told, the vision that was birthed in his heart, that he was going to be the father of nations. He needed an experience to remind him again. So sometimes we need a reminder. But in getting that reminder, it means that you have to dream beyond your circumstance, beyond what it is that you're going through in the moment. All right. You have to think about, you have to think beyond your current situation and not let your current situation shrink your imagination. That's number one principle. Dream beyond your circumstances. Number two, you need to surround yourself with growth minded people. Sometimes we overemphasize, or rather, we underestimate the power of people, the power of having a support system, the power of having people around you that see you beyond how you even see yourself. There are days where I feel down and maybe I'm beginning to question certain things that I've believed. And when I speak to some individuals, some people that are within my network, my trusted circle, right? They say things to me that make me see myself totally differently. And sometimes in those moments, all you have to do is to borrow belief. Yes, to borrow belief, to just see what others see. Because sometimes you may be dull of seeing because of many things, because of doubt, because of, delays and things that have happened. So sometimes when you surround yourself with growth minded people, because one thing is that vision dies in isolation. You need to have the right circle that can rekindle that fire faster than any motivational speech can do for you. So, yes, you need to have your own circle, people that you call on your down days, people that nurture you back to life, people that feed you back to life, people that light up your fire. You need to surround yourself intentionally. There's no way one can go through this life alone. You can't. In fact, this life was not designed that way, that you journey through life alone by yourself. No. You have to surround yourself with people. When Jesus sent out his disciples, he didn't send them out one by one, he sent them in pairs. It was intentional. So that you know that even in ministry, Jesus was showing us that vision thrives in community. Yeah, that's a quotable quote. Vision thrives in community. There's no vision that can abide alone. Vision dies in isolation. And that's why this mentorship platform is also available for us to hold each other up, to be our tribe of accountability, our tribe of courage, our tribe of support. So if your tribe, if your circle doesn't challenge you to grow, it's not a circle, it's a cage. Yeah. If it doesn't stretch you and take you out of your comfort zone, check it. That circle is no longer serving you. So you must have your tribe of accountability partners. You can be in a larger community, but you must still niche down. Jesus had the 70 elders, he had the 12, he had the 3, and he even had the 1. Do you see? So sometimes you're in the midst of your 70 and it feels like it's still very noisy. You probably will need to niche down to your 12, and then, of course, niche down to your 3. Very important. Your circle must be a circle that lights the fire inside of you. So clearly, you must surround yourself with the right type of people that can propel you on the journey of purpose. Number 3 principle that I'm going to share with you. Number 3, turn your pain into purpose. Sometimes on the journey of life, on the journey of pursuing the vision that God has given us, we go through pain, we go through disappointments, we go through setbacks, we go through detours that make us question things. I can tell you for free, every visionary has scars. Yeah, every visionary has scars. But the difference is they turn their wounds into wisdom. And that's why that part of the Bible that says the comfort with which you've been comforted, you are able to also comfort others with it. Do you see? And that's why if you faced rejection in your career before, if you faced failure in your career before, you have to find a way to turn that and use it as a fuel to propel you forward to build something meaningful. Your pain can either make you bitter or make you better. And I think you should choose better. I think you should choose better. Don't waste your pain. No matter what it is that you're going through, make up your mind that I will not waste my pain. This pain has a purpose. And you need to find a purpose in that pain and turn it around to bless another person. Number 4 principle that I'm going to share with us is take action with consistency. Because sometimes it is the consistency that helps us to build momentum. Vision without action is just imagination. You're just imagining things. You're in la la land. You're just imagining things and nothing is really concrete. Nothing is coming into reality. But when you are able to take action, it takes your vision away from the imagination realm and it begins to turn it into tangible results. And you don't have to wait for perfect conditions. Visionaries don't wait for perfection. You just have to take the first step, and then the next step, and then the next step. Take imperfect steps towards your goals. It doesn't have to be perfect, but take a step. When David faced Goliath in the Bible, he didn't wait for a new armor. He used what he was used to, what he's always used, a sling and his faith. That's all. That's the only thing he had. That's what he knew. That's what he's always used. He used the same thing. So stay in consistent action. It may be small steps, little steps, but take consistent action. Take some consistent action. There's somebody that inspired me, whose story I read recently that inspired me. Her name is Temi Giwa Tuboson. That's the founder of Life Bank. Life Bank started with one mission to save lives through blood delivery in hospitals. She didn't have all the resources in the world, but she started small. Today, she's changing lives. She's changing the healthcare system across Africa at a scale that can only be imagined. So, whatever it is that God has put in your heart, start. Anyhow, start. Imperfectly, start. Don't underestimate your small beginnings. Great visions are built one faithful step at a time. Even when God puts a vision in your heart, He doesn't give you the entire blueprint at once. He expects you to trust Him to lead you every step of the way. So you need to take the first step to prove that you believe in what you've been shown. Do you understand? Very important. So those four principles are definitely things that you can do today to help you reignite your spark. Number one, dream beyond your circumstances. Get out of what it is that you think has held you bound or the setback or whatever it is that you're going through. Dream beyond it. See yourself going beyond that situation. See that storm ending and you emerging on the other side. You need to see beyond the dream, the storm. You need to see beyond the circumstance. Number two, surround yourself with growth minded people. People that are also growing, people that are also on their own journey of growth. Very important. Number three, turn your pace into purpose as much as possible. Turn your pain into purpose. And number four, take action with consistency. Take action. Even if it's a small action, any action at all, take action. And there are daily practices that you can also use that can help you to stay inspired daily because these things compound. They come together and they become the force that propel us to keep forging ahead. So start your day with clarity. Remind yourself of your why. When you wake up every morning, remind yourself that you are still alive because God has a purpose for your life. Remind yourself that as long as you're still alive, it means that that thing that is not yet, you know, that has not yet come to be will still be because you are alive. So every moment that you are still alive is telling you that your possibilities can become a reality. So start yourself or start your day with clarity, being grounded in your why, in that thing that you know you have received, that vision that is burning in your heart. Remind yourself about it every day and speak over it. Number two, write the vision down as many times as possible. Write it down. Sometimes when we have things in our heads, until we write it down, it doesn't even get clear to us. It doesn't fuel our conviction, it doesn't fuel our belief. So write it down. Write it down and then read it back to yourself. Write it down, read it back to yourself. Number three, affirm your purpose. Speak over it. Speak life daily into it. Speak what you want to see. Speak what you want to see. Number four, celebrate small wins. No matter what it is, no matter how small it is, celebrate it. Every little progress is a seed of momentum. Celebrate it. And number five, stay connected to your source, to your roots. You cannot sustain a divine vision with your human strength alone. That's what I usually tell people. If God is the one that has given you the vision, then He is the source of strength that will help you to carry that vision to term. More like you're birthing a baby, right? For you to be able to carry the pregnancy full term, you need strength, right? So it is God who is the one that has given it to you, the person that gave you the vision that can provide the strength to carry you through. All right. So stay connected to that source. All right. Stay connected to that source. So, what's my final charge to you? I want you to reignite and go again. Reignite and go again. I want you to remember that you are not behind. I want you to remember that you are not disqualified. I want you to remember that you are not forgotten. God's vision for your life still stands. And I want you to repeat that to yourself. Say to yourself, God's vision for my life still stands. You might be tired, you might be delayed, you might be uninspired, you might even be angry, you might be agitated, you might be anxious, you might be afraid, but your spark is not gone. Even if it is a flicker that remains, your spark is not gone. You just need to fan it to flame. You need to breathe on it again. It's just waiting for you to breathe faith into it again. And that is what you need to do. Now, this is your burning bush experience. Step out of your fear. Step out of your doubt. Step into purpose again. Like I said earlier on, visionaries don't wait for opportunities to manifest. They create the opportunities by the things that they do on a daily basis. So, as we journey through this month of November and we move on towards the end of the year, don't believe that the dreams in your heart and the visions in your heart cannot materialize. Believe bigger, even beyond what you have believed from the beginning of the year. Reignite your spark, dream again, believe again, and build again. Because the world is waiting for the fire that you carry. If you don't show forth that fire, somebody's life is dependent on it. And this thing that I'm saying, I'm even saying it to myself as well. I have some projects that I have not yet delivered this year. And I know that somebody's liberty is resting on that. So even as I'm sharing this with you, I'm also encouraging myself to go bolder and go bigger and become more purposeful in the pursuit of that which has been given to us, that vision in your heart. Go after it again. Go and build again. I need you to share one thing that you're reigniting this month in the group. All right? I want you to also revisit your goals. Ask yourself, what needs a fresh push? Sometimes you may feel like you don't even have the energy for the push. And that is where you lean into your accountability group or in your inner circle. Ask for help. Don't try to do it on your own. All right? Sometimes when your strength is little, and there will be those days when you feel like you're about to faint, you lean into your circle, right? For that fresh push. And then I want you to commit to showing up fully for the remaining days of the year. Let's finish 2025 strong with renewed energy and vigor, renewed focus and renewed passion. Because we don't just exist, we thrive. That's who we are. So, this is my challenge to you this month of November and for the rest of the year, that you go bold again with your vision. Build again with clarity, with focus, and with purpose. And I trust that you will receive the strength and the grace to carry you through. I love you. I'm rooting for you and I'm praying for you. Feel free to reach out with your questions, drop your comments. I definitely will get back to them. And I want to continue to serve you in whatever capacity. If there is a topic area that you want us to treat, feel free to leave a note in the comment and we'll be more than happy to come and share with you on that. So stay pumped, stay motivated, stay ignited. I'll see you soon.